Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another CVMSDC virtual capabilities briefing with our guest today from Luxi Education. I'm your host and moderator of VK Fields with the PR Pros team. We have another informative session planned for you today with Mr. Herbert Drayton and Ms. Ingrid Tugwell of Luxi Education. As a reminder, all of our audience participant lines are automatically muted. However, you can submit a question using the question box feature in the GoToWebinar dashboard on your screen. Also, as a reminder, today's session is being recorded and it will be available for you to review later and to share with your colleagues. You can view the recording from the CVMSDC website by logging on to cvmsdc.org/webinars. And now I'm pleased to introduce our CVMSDC President and CEO, Dominique Milton, to open up today's session. Good afternoon, Dominique.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Valerie. Welcome to CVMSDC's virtual capability briefing. I am so excited to present to you today a new learning tool, Luxi, created by Herbert Drayton and Ingrid Tugwell. Our VCBs are designed for our MBEs, Minority Business Enterprise owners, to showcase their products and services as if they were pitching to a potential customer. Our guest today, Herbert Drayton III, is a serial entrepreneur with a military background. Herbert served honorably in both the Marine Corps Reserve and the Air Force. While in the military, Herbert earned an AS in Electronic Systems Technology and later a BS in Business Administration. In addition to his leadership role with Luxi, he generously volunteers time to help lead more than 7 nonprofits in the community, including chair-elect of a $300 million foundation, a homeless shelter, the Regional Goodwill, a $1 billion healthcare system, and the board of advisors for a major university in the Southeast. A fun fact about Herbert is that he hits the gym every morning at 4:30 a.m. Truly disciplined. And Herbert, tomorrow I hope you do some crunches for me. Next up, we have Ingrid Tugwell, also a serial entrepreneur with over 30 years in the management and leadership training space as a trainer and a multiple business owner of training companies. He spent the last 3 decades working with companies such as Boeing, Mercedes-Benz, Robert Bosch, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force, and multiple other developing leaders and changing corporate culture. She is a nationally known speaker, featured on Fox and ABC News with the Women's Entrepreneur Series, and has received multiple international awards with her training companies. A fun fact about Ingrid is that she is a softball player and has played for over 40 years. Herbert and Ingrid's business portfolio includes medical, technical, and professional training, and enterprise, SaaS, B2B, and B2C solutions. They have managed a customer base in 38 states, Canada, the UK, and the British Virgin Isles. So I'm excited for you to hear about Luxi, their newest venture. I have personally tested this product and found it to be easy to use with a wealth of learning material. So let's jump right in. I'm going to jump off camera so you all can be featured, and let's hear about Luxi from Ingrid and Herbert. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Herbert and I are excited to share the story of Luxi with you. Luxi to excel and shine. It's so important for managers and leaders to excel in organizations. Herbert and I invested over $20,000 in 18 of our leaders with traditional instructor-led training. We sent them to an 8-week Dale Carnegie course that met for 3.5 hours once a week. Initially, it appeared they were learning necessary management concepts. However, after a month, it appeared that they had forgotten everything they had learned. Interestingly enough, Herbert and I own the Dale Carnegie franchise for most of South Carolina and part of Georgia. We also tried traditional learning management systems and found that they only measured completion, not retention. Lastly, we tried online learning and found that our learners were using surrogates and sharing their answers. We created Luxi to address each of our pain points. We measure retention. Our learning is accessible 24/7 from any device. We have customizable content, and we offer personalized learning journeys, which you will see when Herbert shares our content.
Thanks, Ingrid. One of the things that we discovered when we were looking for a better solution for our managers and leaders is the science behind learning. And we found out that forgetting is a part of learning. And most of that work was actually done many, many decades ago by Professor Ebbinghaus. And Professor Ebbinghaus was able to prove that information we learn, we lose 90% of it within 1 week. That explained what happened with our learners. So we took this algorithm, combined it with adaptive and distributed learning, and created Luxi. And what Luxi does, it takes core course content, presents it in bite-sized chunks, and then once the learner has completed the course, the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve kicks in on the back end. And that algorithm predicts when a learner is going to start to forget information. And once we reach that threshold, the application pings the user and shows them questions and allows them to engage with the platform to get their learning, their knowledge back up to speed. And if you notice, over time, the slope gets longer. What this indicates is that the information that is being presented to the learner is retained longer, and that means less engagement with the application. So what does that look like to the user? Here's some screenshots from my mobile device that I took a few days ago. Notice the icon on the phone. I've got an alert that says it's time to learn. I click on the icon takes me to my dashboard, and the system will tell me what course I have to learn. I click on learn, then it takes me to this screen where once again it lets me know the course, time to review. And when I click on review, it brings me to the next screen, which tells me that there are 4 concepts in this Leadership 2 course that I have to have reinforced. The system will then present me with content from each of these concepts. I'll answer questions and work my way through all 4 of the items that I need to have refreshed. When we looked at what we needed for core management and leadership training, we found a partner who worked with us, and what you see before you is over 100 core management and leadership courses. Everything on this screen is customizable. While it's out of the box, anything in any of the courses we could customize to meet the unique needs of your organization. And what that means is if there's a video that you want us to incorporate into any one of these courses, we can incorporate that video into the courses at the beginning, middle, or end. We can transcribe that video so that it becomes core content that the user has to review, that can read. We can assign questions to that content as well. And also what we can do is take any content that you have within your organization and put it onto the platform. It typically takes about 2 to 3 days to customize content onto the platform. I want to give you an idea of what the category of Luxi means for an organization. Right now, a new organization coming on board, they will enter the Luxi Learning platform. We save all that content, that data, how folks are engaging with the platform, and we use that data to create a customizable mentor that's unique to your organization. If you've got use cases that you want incorporated into the learning, we incorporate that into the system as well. But the Luxi Mentor allows all of your users to engage in a chatbot-like environment to ask questions. But again, that information will be relative to your organization. It will typically take between 12 and 18 months to get enough data on the Luxi Learning side to create the chatbot for an organization. It's like a virtual mentor. From there, we use the content from Luxi Mentor and Luxi Learning to create the content for a virtual learning environment for your managers and leaders. This is helpful for those who want to have that in-classroom experience. They'll come into the platform, create an avatar, and have other avatars in the room as colleagues while they're learning in that environment. And again, the good thing about this is that we're taking content and data from your managers and leaders' engagement at the Luxi Learning level and their engagement with the chatbot to create this Luxi virtual learning environment. And this can also be used for new hires that come into your organization. Those new hires, you can identify specific courses that you want them to engage with. And again, the great part about this is learning anytime, anywhere, but customized to your environment. At this time, we'll go into the application, and I'll give you a sense of what the users will see. Here we're on in the application. You saw this dashboard, a snapshot from my mobile device. You get a greeting. I've got a learn button here. This button's green, which tells me that it's time for me to, I need to work on some of the concepts from one of the courses that I'm taking. Also below, you'll see the courses that I'm currently registered in. It's interesting that I'd like to point out that I've completed 100% of the course content for all 8 of the courses that I'm currently registered for. But because this green button is on, it tells me that some of the content that I've learned is beginning to fade from memory. And I'll just take a step through this particular course. Again, these screens you saw with the screenshots I took. And here's the question that the system's asking me. One of the keys to Apple is Apple's blank company. And we took this course from a YouTube video where Steve Jobs was talking about managing people. I click here to see what my options are, and I believe the answer is collaborative. I get the answer. And now, the system has positive reinforcement, and if I wanted to review the instructional content, I can come here and review the content. Notice this is the YouTube video. The transcribed content is below. And also, if I just wanted to play the audio, the system will do a text-to-speech narrative for me in case I wanted to just listen to the content from this video, which was 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Luxi comes out of the box with about 20 dashboards. That's 20 dashboards and reports that's available. I'll just show you a couple of those dashboards. We'll go here into the knowledge bank. And what the knowledge bank shows you is a cluster of all the courses that I'm currently registered for. Notice that most of the courses I'm currently registered for, I'm at a level 3 or above, and that's going to be important when we start to talk about retention. As I hover over any of the course, any of the icons here, I get a pop-out on the left side of the screen, which tells me that this is the Appreciative Inquiry course. I have a set goal of 1.5, but my personal score right now is at about a 3.6. There were 53 concepts in this particular course, and I've studied all 53, and the system's letting me know that my next review is in 6 hours. And I'll do a hover over of another course just to give you an idea. This is the Leadership 2 course. I had a set goal of 1.5 and a set score of 3.7. And my next review for this particular course is in 2 days. I'll show you a couple of more dashboards, which really explains the learning of Luxi, of the platform. Here, as I said a minute ago, I'm at a level 3 with most of the courses that I'm registered for. And that level 3 says that I have a mastery of months and years of the core content that's included in that course. Now, this is important. Ingrid said early on that we looked into instructor-led training, we looked into online training, we used an LMS. And what those things were simply doing is measuring completion. What Luxi does is it measures retention. Now, when you get a new hire, you bring them into the organization. You do the basic things like tell them who the chief executive is, who your key managers are, and any useful information that the individual may need during onboarding. That's new information that you want to share with them. They see it once. Traditional training works the same way. You see the information once, you test, and then we as managers and leaders of the organization, we hope that they remember it. Luxi works on retention. We focus on measuring retention. So how does it do that? If you look at the typical workload, as I showed you on the mobile device, Luxi in the back end, the algorithm measures when you are about to forget information. Notice here that I've got 212 concepts that are assigned to me. And this graph tells you that for 100 memories or 100 concepts, I would have to engage in the platform for approximately 5 hours over a 2-month period to reach a level 3. And if you recall, see here, I've got 200 concepts. So you double this. So over the course of 2 months, I've spent about 5 hours of time inside the application. And what does that mean from a workload perspective? So how long will it take me to, what does that mean from a workload? So for each item that I reviewed, those 212 concepts, once I reach the level 3, I will get pinged every 3 weeks on those concepts. And I will continue to progress through, and I will eventually get to level 4. Once I reach a level 4, now I'm only going to be pinged every 3 months on those concepts. I want to show you a couple more dashboards that helps to illustrate how you as an organization would measure the performance of your managers and leaders throughout the organization. You know, at a high level, you get the best time to study, the best day to study, and also the best time to study. But more importantly, you take a look here at the diligence score. This score tells you how diligent your managers and leaders are with their learning process. So here you'll notice that I've got a score of 95, Ingrid has a score of 92. The system measures from the time that it pings me to say, hey, it's time to learn again. It measures how long it takes me to engage with the platform. And it's also looking at how am I thoughtfully engaging with the questions and answering them in a thoughtful manner and not just rushing through, which may happen in your traditional learning, in your traditional learning settings. The other piece, the other key score to look at is knowledge. How well am I absorbing that information and applying it to the setting? Now, once again, we could look at just completion, but with Luxi, we're measuring retention. And I'm registered for 8 courses, so my courses are a composite of all 8 of those courses.
Thank you, Herbert. You'll see our talented team here, of course, Herbert and I, and then from left to right, you'll see Carisha, Courtney, and Shelby. You'll have the pleasure of working with each should you partner with us after today.
Thanks, Ingrid. BK and Dominic will take questions at this point.
All right, thank you so much, Herbert and Ingrid, for that detailed presentation and demonstration. Dominique, I'll let you take the lead.
Okay, thank you so much. That was very detailed, and it's a fantastic tool to be able to measure progress of learning. So thank you all so much for sharing that. Quick question I have before we open up to audience. You said we can customize content, but if I have a pre-existing training program in my organization, can you put that into Luxi and let us utilize your tool for the training?
I'll take that one, Dominique. Absolutely.
Okay.
And we can put your content on. Our professional services team can do that. The cost is $125 an hour with a minimum of 5 hours for any engagement.
Okay, so $125 to customize it.
Yes, ma'am. With a
Okay, great.
5-hour minimum.
Okay, great. How much is it for the actual tool if I wanted to buy this for 25 of my team members to study with?
Okay, that's a great question as well. It's $29.99 per user per month. So
Okay.
it's $359.88 for the year. And we do ask for a commitment of 1 year. This includes up to 5 courses per user. And any content after that is $50 per course per month.
That's extremely reasonable. Thank you so much. VK, do we have any questions from the audience?
Yes, we do. The first question is about Luxi and its ability to integrate with other learning management systems.
Sure, I'll take that one, Ingrid. We are LTI compliant, and that LTI compliance means that groups such as Pearson's and McGraw-Hill, they use that protocol to integrate external systems into their learning platforms. And also with all of the major LMS platforms out there, we engage with Blackboard, D2L, Moodle, OpenEDX, we seamlessly integrate with those platforms. Thanks for the question.
Thank you. The next question is, how often are new courses added and available with Luxi Education?
Right now with our content partner, VK, we pick up about one new course per quarter. And if there's a special request from a customer, we will work with them to find that course and author it onto the platform, which takes about, for a half-day workshop, that content, it takes us about 2 days to author onto the platform. And we, as I said earlier, we could customize that to the customer.
Okay, thank you. The next question is asking about scalability. How many users can this platform accommodate? How many people can be on the platform learning at the same time?
Yeah, and I'll take that one as well. The system has been load tested to handle a simulated 1 billion users simultaneously on the platform. So we're built to scale.
Thank you. Next question is Luxi available in multiple languages?
Yes.
That's a great question, BK. I'll take that one. Certainly, the platform supports up to 14 different languages.
So can you explain more how that works, Ingrid? So can one, if you have 25 users in an organization, can they utilize it with different languages at one, one person doing Spanish, another person doing French with the same content?
Dominique, that's a great question as well. And yes, they can. So it's adaptable to the language that they need.
That's outstanding. Okay.
Let's see. Someone submitted a question. How long does it take to implement a new course?
I'll take, you got that, Herbert?
Go ahead.
I'll take that, VK. So once we have the census, which is part of the enrollment and onboarding, we get the course assignments, and it typically takes 10 to 14 days.
Okay, thank you. Next question, do you recommend a standard set of courses for users?
Yeah, we do. What we discovered when we were working with our managers is that, rather than having, your traditional course environment, you have the course and everyone's expected to engage. We discovered that our managers had different learning needs and they had different learning styles. So we would ask the organization to tailor the course to best meet the needs where the manager or leader needs improvement. You may have one manager that needs an appreciative inquiry course. You may have another manager that needs the basics of leadership. You may have another manager that needs help with supervision. So if an organization wants some help with that, we have in the past developed a recommended block for emerging leaders, supervisors, managers, and directors as well. But I recommend full customization for each individual user.
Thank you. And Dominique, we have one final question, which is asking Herbert and Ingrid, what's the first step to take to connect with you all or someone in sales at Luxi Education to learn more?
I've just put our contact information up on the screen, VK. I encourage anyone who's interested to please reach out to either Ingrid or I, and we will get back with you typically within a couple of hours. And feel free, this is our cell phone number. If you want to text us as well, we're open to take text messages as well.
Outstanding. Thank you. Was that it on the questions, VK?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Herbert and Ingrid, for joining us today. I hope that our listeners, as well as our viewers currently and in the future, if they're interested in this tool as a learning tool, they will reach out to you. And I know this is just one of many products that you're going to be launching as serial entrepreneurs, but I'm really pleased to have tried this product. It works fantastically. And as a manager, it is a great tool to be able to help guide your teams through and keep that retention in the learning. So thank you so much for joining us today. To our listeners, please visit CVMSDC.org Visit our calendar on a regular basis to sign up for these types of events. We have 3 different types of webinar series. We have our Straight Talk series with Lasagna Berry. We have our Lunch and Learn series with yours truly. And then MBEs can sign up for virtual capability briefings if they'd like to showcase their products or service in the same manner. So thank you all for joining us today. And with that, it's a wrap. Take care, folks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Welcome.